Hey, it's Koester, and I'm your host and the founder of Casual Cattle Conversations, a global rancher education company that strives to bring honest thoughts and conversations from ranchers and leaders to other ranchers. Be sure to follow Cattle Convos on social media to have more in-depth conversations around the ranching business and lifestyle brought to you. If you are ready to take your operation to the next level and improve your lifestyle too, send me a message about my Rancher Mind group. Rancher Minds are monthly roundtable discussions for ranchers to learn from peers and experts and leave the call with actionable advice to make changes on their own operations. With that, let's see who our guest is today and what experience and advice they have to offer you to improve your own operation. Well, Ray, thank you for joining me on the show. It is a pleasure to have you on, and I'm pretty excited to talk about scales, load bars, and EIDs today, and really what that system looks like and how they all work together. But before we dive into that, can you share what your role is with Gallagher in the beef industry?
Well, thank you, Shay, for having me today. I have been with Gallagher for just a little over 11 years now, and my role is Director of Technical Operations and Learning and Development. And over the years, I've served in many different capacities with Gallagher, from being in the field, working with farmers directly and dealers. I came into the office and spearheaded our scales and EID business development for many years, and then went on to do technical support advisory, and then recently, the last year, became a director of technical operations. So I've kind of centered my career around technology and being on the helping our customers and helping our sales folks learn about new ideas and new things all through the industry. And I've worked with many hundreds of dealers and end users at shows and in the field. So it's been just a wonderful time and a great group of people to work with.
Well, that's awesome and exciting to hear. So, like we said earlier, we're talking scales, load bars, and EIDs. So would you break down what each of those individual components are and kind of explain them at a basic level?
Absolutely. Gallagher scales and load bars are basically a tool for us to weigh our animals. And the load bars are underneath the squeeze chute or in an alleyway. So they stand on that, and then they're connected to a scale head that reads the weight and records data that the farmer or the producer wants to capture. What we have found over the last 25 years of doing this work is that farmers are becoming more and more tuned into the metrics of what their animals are performing with, and a lot of the breed associations are requiring different metrics to be measured at chute side. So while we don't have to do this by like other countries have to do it compulsory wise, they have to weigh their animals and whatnot. The United States is doing it because they find value in learning about their animals from birth all the way to slaughter. I mean, at the end of the day, we just want to know what it costs to grow an animal. So by using scales and EID, we can really rifle in on some of the metrics that it takes to grow an animal correctly. In the beginning, a lot of farmers and ranchers weigh their animals at birth. They take information down about the mom and about the offspring itself, and to make sure that things are okay. They make observations about if it was a hard birth or if it was a difficult situation. So it may make a difference as to how long they keep that dam, and also just to understand from the time it's born to the time it's weaned, how much it's grown. And there's a lot of value in knowing what the weaning weights are, and then projecting what the 205 weights are, just to understand what I'm going to be at when I go to slaughter my animal. But all of this is taken in with the idea of making sure that I recorded all my treatments that I've given to my animals from the vaccinations that happened at the beginning. Our equipment allows you to put that information in and associate it with the animal's record, kind of like what we do with a medical record for one of us. It stays with the animal for its entire life. And if you've got good genetics on the farm, you want to record that information as well and make sure that you make those breeding decisions that are so critical with your equipment as well. So weights and genetics can be all tied together in a database that a farmer can review and make note of, and make a great observation decision based on all these facts, instead of just just guessing as to what the weight is perhaps and such.
Yeah, absolutely. And that, I was going to ask you, how do you view the value of data collection in the beef industry? And you've already touched on that. But do you have anything else you'd like to add as far as how much value that data can bring to the rancher today?
Absolutely. As we work with farmers and ranchers across the country and in Canada as well, we have found that animals are worth a lot more. If I'm going to charge more for an animal because of its genetics, I need to prove it. And if I want to ship abroad, if I want to ship to the EU or to other countries, I have to send records with that animal all the way. But moreover, I want to understand, is my breeding effective? And is all of this information coming to a point where it shows that the animal has made great progress and could prove to be more profitable for the person that I sell my animals to? So it's become extremely important as time has gone on. It's always been important. Don't get me wrong. It's always been important. Speaking with at the National Cattlemen's Association this last year, we had a lot of producers that came up and said, "Hey, I'm finally getting it. The lights come on. I need to take care of this information. I need to buy scales and EID systems. I need to understand what it is that I've done, because I can't guess anymore. I can't just assume that things are going great." It's one of the other big catalysts of change is, well, the price of drug treatments. They're very expensive, and if you dose by weight, you save a lot of money. Because if I overdose my animals, that's not doing us any good, and underdosing is just as bad. So when I can dose my animals by the weight that they actually are, wow, it makes a huge difference in the way I operate. Profitability, and again, what it costs to grow my animal, is all going into that formula, and I can't do it without this metric.
Absolutely. Now, something that I've noticed, personally, I've been involved on the seed stock and commercial side of the cattle industry. And seed stock producers are, in a sense, required to take some of these weights and track that information. Mm-hmm. How are you seeing weight systems or the scales and load bar systems and EID systems being implemented on commercial operations? What are you seeing there in the industry?
Well, most of the time on commercial operations, I'm definitely looking at induction weights and such as they're being processed in. I'm also taking feed conversion and looking at all the different metrics. If my rations are correct, and I'm doing a great job with that. So it's a very important part of that operation, from the beginning all the way to the end when I'm ready to send. So we have many commercial customers that utilize our equipment to capture that data.
Well, that's awesome and exciting to see that, all segments of the beef industry are really onboarding and getting on track with this data and moving forward with that. So where do you see the future of these systems going? I mean, technology is advancing so quickly. So where do you see the future of these weighing systems and EID systems going in the next 5 to 10 years?
Well, a lot of it is about the accessibility to the data. A lot of folks that we talk to want to get it on their phone. They want to see information about the animal that I'm looking at right now. I want to be able to grab it from a cloud account, let's say, or just wherever I'm at in the world. I want to know where things are at, right? So if I have folks that work with me or at my operation, I want them to be able to input data and maybe accessible to it. So there is a lot of push in the industry and the technology wise to get it more accessible. So Gallagher has been on the leading edge of this because we're one of the only companies that's integrated both the equipment and software together. There's a lot of standalone software companies, and there's a lot of standalone equipment companies. But we've taken the leap and hired a great crew of folks that are blending both the technology of software and the equipment together and making them talk to each other. And so we get instantaneous results wherever we're at. So the future holds more of that. There's also exciting things like drones and equipment that's in the field that actually automatically helps you weigh the animal remotely, or telemetry that is in a bolus that goes into the animal, and it sends information to a computer or to a cloud account. So it makes the job of doing this work with less labor and more efficiency, higher profits, because I have accessibility to my data. And when we talk to groups all over, that's all they talk about is, okay, I make this easier for me to do. I need to have more accessibility. I need it in my hand. I just need simplicity, but I need to have access to my data. So as we work forward in our future, as our company evolves in our technology, it's about finding new ways to help farmers and ranchers get to what they need and what they need to know most, and making decisions on what they're doing on their farm or ranch. And it's wonderful, exciting. We see new technology all the time. There's so many ideas out there that are coming to fruition. And we are trying to partner and create an ecosystem of products and companies that we work with that meld good with EID and scales, so we can make a complete package. The future holds a dashboard. Imagining a dashboard with all these different things. One that monitors my water, one that monitors my fence, one that monitors my animals. And then all of this in an app that allows us to pick and choose what we want to do. Once I gather information, customers want to be able to send it to their associations, to the breed associations. My cow-calf folks, they want to know what's going on in the field and be able to get to issues that may come up. But I tell you, Shay, it's been a really exciting journey over the last 5-6 years, and our future looks very bright, and there's no stopping what could possibly be possible, because people are truly thinking through, okay, if I were able to do this differently, how would I do it? How would I make it easier? It's kind of interesting, not to get into the weeds too far, but I tell you, I've just recently went out to a university, and we did some talking with some students, some grad students, and one of the biggest concerns that they have, and looking at technology in the future, is what am I going to do when I come back to my family farm to make it successful? Because my dad and my granddad and my legacy family is saying, we've done it this way for many, many years, and we're doing just fine, right? Well, not necessarily. So we've been teaching them these principles of efficiencies, and they're studying the little minute things that can be gathered from weights and gathering traits and observations, because honestly, that's what's going to help them survive as we go forward. And we're so excited to be a part of that trending that they see. And Gallagher works closely with those folks and all kinds of different organizations to try to bring to light what's possible and make things easier for folks to do the work that they've been doing for years.
Well, absolutely. And I would agree with everything you just said there. And so with that, one thing that I pulled out of that last statement, or those last few words, were there's just a lot of information that can be collected and monitored. So how does a producer go about deciding what, information is going to matter to them, so that they know what type of technologies they need to start implementing? Because not every technology or piece of equipment is going to be perfect for every operation. So what are some questions, producers can ask themselves before they start making these investments in technology?
Well, Shay, it's about, when we talk to folks for the first time when they're considering equipment, it's a great conversation to have about, what do you want to know? We can help them from the very simplest system all the way to the system that records a lot of data and a lot of information. So it's really that. I mean, what matters to them? Their operation may have different types of needs than another operation does. And I think it's once we hear what they want to do and what's the future look like for them. I mean, you may not be doing EID tags now, but when you eventually may do them, are we putting them in the right package to expand their operation? So there's not this cell phone mentality where, gosh, it's no good in a year, it's just obsolete. We want to help them grow with that. And our equipment allows them to update and expand their operation with technology as it comes about. And that's really exciting to see them go through that whole process and that journey of beginning. And then, and we talk to folks all the time that have been in the business for years, and they go, gosh, it's time to do something different, and to make things more efficient. I have a good customer I met again at one of the big shows. And when I first met them, the husband and wife came up to me at the booth, and he says, yeah, we need a new scale. I said, so are you weighing your animals down? He says, no, we're not doing a lot yet. We're just going to get into this. And the wife is standing there, and she's like looking at him like, you better say everything that I want you to say, or I'm going to beat you. So it was kind of cute, because pretty soon she says, all right, this isn't for him. This is for me. I am tired of getting things written on a piece of wood or a piece of paper that he's conglomerated the whole thought here, and I can't read it. It's got blood and scat and all kinds of stuff all over it. I want something that I can have him push a button and I get it in the office where I like to be. And there's so many folks in groups like this that they've been doing it the same way, but they're, for one reason or another, things have become more intense for them to report more information, or they want more information to make things, or just doing the books, understanding what the bank wants. So it's a combination of teaching and asking what he needs to do, and helping her or them find out what they need to do in the office, or how they need to report it, how they need to put it all together so they can analyze their data later. So it's kind of fun. You see this happen all the time.
Well, awesome. Well, Ray, is there anything else you would like to add before we wrap up today?
Well, Shay, thank you again for having me today. And I think it's such a great opportunity in our industry right now to see things as they are. I recently came from a big show in Nashville, and the National Cattlemen's Association, the place was just full of new technology. So I think that as we move forward, folks have options, and they have, so your imagination can go wild, it seems, because there's so many things that you can do to make yourselves more efficient. And embracing technology, keeping it simple, and understanding what you want to know, being able to change your mind if you want, and having equipment and software and people to support that is what it's all about.
Well, awesome. Thank you very much, Ray. I appreciate everything we got to visit about today, and I'm sure my audience will as well.
Well, thank you for having me, Shay.
And that's a wrap on that one. Be sure to let me know your thoughts on the episode, and if you have any further questions around the topic. Take care and have a great day.